All right, so just refresh my memory. I know we messaged, I forgot to look at what we messaged about a few weeks ago, but or a couple of weeks ago, about what's currently going on with his territorial behavior and stuff.
Yeah, so he always jumped and barked at like a madman over the gate when the cats are on the other side. But if I let him out of the gate, he like he kind of doesn't go after them like he wants to play,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't hurt them or anything like that.
Okay.
But I can't leave him in the living room because he finds everything that he's not supposed to have.
Right.
So, and the house is kind of under construction. Right now, the bathroom's being torn apart. So the litter box is in the living room and he likes to snack on the litter box.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Kitty poop sickles.
oh, God, it's gross.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you can let him in supervised just so he can continue to interact with the cats, that's okay. But you got to be on top of him, as you know.
Right.
You know, and I mean, how old is he now? 8 months?
He's 8 months.
Yeah, he's too young to leave him to his own devices.
And that was the thing. Sam was saying that he shouldn't be gated. He should have free reign or be in the crate.
Who's Sam?
So that the girl you try to hook me up with her.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm like, me and Dominic are looking at each other. We're like, Jeff said not to do that.
Yeah. No, you don't give a puppy free roam of the house.
No. And I mean, when I come home, I primarily stay in the kitchen doing stuff because I don't want him to be alone in here. So
yeah, and a lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people raising puppies, they will, you go from the crate to like a room. That's the natural progression of giving puppies space. And a lot of people choose whatever room is a room that they frequent a lot, a den, a sunroom, a kitchen, right? That's the natural progression of giving him freedom. I mean, honestly, you're talking when he's 2 years old, then you can start toying around with giving him more freedom, more unsupervised freedom in the house. You have a lot of time before that happens.
Yeah, right? Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, you have, I mean, I know he's cute and all, but I mean, you got a working dog. I hate to say it, I mean, like
he's working me.
Yeah, right. He's driving you nuts. That's what he's doing. Instead of driving cattle, he's driving you nuts.
Right.
But what's that?
My Alexa was going off, so I was telling my daughter to turn it off.
Oh, that's funny. You know what my wife and I do when we say "Okay, Google"? We shout like obscene things into each other's phones.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's funny.
Google just came on.
It hears you.
I know. Yeah. So don't worry about unsupervised freedom. You're so far from that right now.
Okay.
But you do need him to explore the house under supervised conditions, right?
Right.
And you do want him to, especially because he's good with the cats, you want to continue that interaction and perpetuate that good relationship building.
Okay. And I do have one cat that she stands her ground.
Good.
And she will stand up to him and she will protect the other cat who doesn't stand up for himself. And he's like totally afraid of her.
Good.
Like she comes out and he wants to play with her and she just starts with the paw and he runs the other way. He just backs off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but, that's the normal progression of their relationship building. That stuff has to happen. He might, again, the beat up on the one or what appears to be beating up on him, and yet he's submissive towards the other cat. That's a really good place for him to be because he's not domineering. He's not dominating or domineering them, being domineering, and he's not being bullied by them either. So there's a nice balance there.
Right.
So,
right.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, I have been trying to socialize him whenever I'm out on a walk. If I see another dog that's friendly, I will let him approach them and they'll play for at least a few minutes and he gets along with other dogs very well.
Good.
It seems to be dogs behind fences that he just barks like crazy at. And that other trainer, Sam, she was saying that maybe he's afraid of them and that's why he's barking like that. And that for me to walk across the street, but you can my streets are kind of narrow, so it's like you can only go so far.
Right. So first of all, barrier frustration it's a real thing. It's very common in
Right.
dogs. And remember, the dogs, if you're walking on the street and dogs are behind a fence barking, right? He's reciprocating, right? He's barking back.
Yes.
Okay. Who starts it?
He does.
Okay. So he sees them and targets them.
Yeah. So now, like, we have a nice dog. He's not a pit bull. He's a leopard something, but that's part of the pit bull family, right?
Catahoula leopard dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they're not pitties. No.
Oh, they're not.
No.
Okay. So, but he's really strong. And so when we walk past his yard, he's really good. I mean, he just runs back and forth, and then Max like barks like crazy at him. But he doesn't look like he would hurt him or anything like that. And I guess that's just the way these two are.
Right. All right. So
yeah, go ahead.
So let's kind of isolate a couple of things. So
okay.
First and foremost, barking, right? Me and you, we're barking at each other right now. Right?
Okay.
We have to figure out the intent behind the barking, right?
Right.
Because leashes and barriers can cause frustration. So you have a dog that is proven dog friendly, and he's a puppy. He's on a leash. He can't get there. That other dog can't get to him. Then you have frustration. So dogs will start barking and communicating, and that frustration could lead to other forms of anxiety, right?
Okay.
So I am not a fan of removing dogs from those situations when they're at a peak state of mind, peak state of stimulation. So I don't know Sam personally, right? I just know the type of psychology and science that she was educated on. That's why I referred her to you.
Okay.
When a dog, provided everything, there's no safety issues, and there's not, because you have a sweet puppy. It's not like he's he's an aggressive 150-pound monster, right? So when a dog is spiking and overstimulated, the last thing I do, provided it's safety, right? The last thing I want to do is remove them from that situation, because what could happen is, as they're exhibiting this behavior and you remove them, you create distance. And what happens when you get distance? What does he do? He calms down, right?
Right.
So he's learning, gets me to a better place mentally and emotionally. So what you want to do is you want to stop. This is where it's good to have treats on you, right?
Okay.
Just stop, do a couple of sits with him, get his attention, and then carry on your walk.
Right in front of the other dog?
Wherever, what's your dog's name again? I forgot.
Max.
I'm sorry. Whenever Max is starting to spike, we need to disconnect him from that, get his focus on us, and then carry on the walk.
Okay.
Right? Because we don't want to yank him through it.
Because that's what I'm doing. I'm dragging him down the street.
Yeah, we want to start start changing his state of mind and lowering it so he's at a better state of mind. So ideally, it becomes a non-event, right?
Okay.
But at minimum, we need him to focus on us. That's why when we were messaging, I suggested when I was talking about socialization, which we'll get to in a minute. Working him, like, socializing isn't just getting him out and getting people to pet him. Socialization is working him, remember when we first talked, you got to start working him in your kitchen, and then your backyard, and then your front yard, right?
Right.
Well, that also has to continue at Home Depot, at the, somewhere like an outdoor shopping center, or somewhere where there's a lot of people, parks, I said Home Depot already, we're everywhere, pet stores. Like, those are the places you don't just go just to go. You want to go and work him a little bit too. The more you work him in new environments, the more likely he is to respond to you when you're in a new environment.
Okay. So you can bring your dog to all these places, like Home Depot and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Because I've never seen anybody with a dog.
Oh, all the time. They love my pit bulls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't take my dogs for training. I just take them for shits and giggles. But a lot of my clients, I meet them at Home Depot.
Okay.
For an actual session. We pick a store and we go meet, and we walk up and down the aisles, and some dogs are afraid of carts, so we do cart work. Home Depot's pet friendly.
What are cart work? What is cart work?
Dogs that are afraid of the sound of and the motion of the Home Depot carts. You know,
Okay.
the shopping carts.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, but like, you know, even with him, I mean, you could take like a fleece blanket with you and put him in the cart. You could do that, but you
Okay.
definitely want to work him. Sit down, come stay. Even if it's, you know, do like 30 seconds or 60 seconds in a few different aisles, and then let him interact with people. That's a good way to socialize him because he's getting exposure. Most importantly, he's working for you in a new environment, right? Now,
Okay.
what happens is, let's say you go to Home Depot and you work him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to text me, oh, he was such an asshole. He wouldn't listen at all. Right?
Probably.
Right. So that tells us that the environment was more interesting than us. Right. So
Okay.
next time you go back, he's more likely to listen because it's somewhere he's been before. And you also need to increase the value of your food. So let's say you took dog biscuits your first visit to Home Depot and he was like, screw you. Everything else is better. Next time you got to bring chopped up hot dogs.
Okay.
Increase the value of his motivator. That's what treats are basically motivators, right? So
okay.
the higher distraction environment, the higher our treat value has to be, especially for a puppy that's going somewhere he's never been before. So, you know, visit 1, you'll have a little bit of success probably, but he'll be preoccupied. Visit 2, you'll have more success. And you want to go back to that same place. So is Home Depot near your house? Is that where you would go?
Yeah, we have a Home Depot. We have a Lowe's.
Okay,
I just didn't think you were allowed to bring them in there.
Absolutely. Home Depot, Lowe's, and pet stores, right? So what you want to do first is pick one. Let's say it's Home Depot. Do that 4 or 5 times. It doesn't have to be 4 or 5 times in a week, but I would say 4 or 5 times over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks the max. So there's a lot of repetition in a short period of time. And you need to make either literal notes or mental notes of his progress each successive time you go there. Because each time you go there, he should be a little better. I'm not saying he's going to be competition obedience ready. The purpose is to work him and socialize him in the same trip, if you will, you know? So, and then when you feel like he's made a little bit of progress at Home Depot, then you add a store, Lowe's or a pet store or whatever, and you work him there.
Okay.
You know, that's the best way to socialize and work them in new environments, so they're more likely to respond and focus on us when we need them to, when we are in a new environment at some point, right?
Okay.
So
I can get him to sit, but I haven't learned how to get him to stay.
Okay, so stay is tough. The thing with stay is he comes reliably. He comes to you reliably.
Yeah, he'll come to me.
Okay. So when you put him in, and there's some differences of opinions with trainers with sit stay versus down stay. Like in the course of like regular dog ownership, like most people don't give a shit as long as the dog stays, right? They don't care if they're sitting or laying down, right? You can always separate a sit stay from a down stay later down the road, but your objective is to start simple. Oh, then never mind. So you basically want to put them in a sit and start putting your hand out with a stay and literally take 1 step back, or even just lean back as your hand is here and come right back and praise him, right? So you're literally getting lucky that he's not breaking his stay, meaning moving from the sit, right?
Okay.
And so you really, you can't put him in a sit and walk back 5 feet and expect him to stay. He doesn't know what it means. You have to start right in front of him. Stay.
Okay.
Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Maybe take a little lean further back, come right back, and reward. The most important thing about teaching stay is to reward him in the spot that you gave him the stay command.
Okay.
See, most people will say sit, stay. They'll back away and call the dog. That doesn't teach them what stay means.
Because they forget, right, by that time.
Well, it's almost like a wait, kind of hold on a second. Whereas stay really should mean stay until I release you, you know? So you literally are taking baby steps. Hey, Dom.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Good. Yeah, so you're literally taking baby steps. And you know what, hold on 1 sec, all right?
Okay.
Yep.
So he was just telling me, take him to Home Depot, Lowe's, like he said
really?
before, for socialization.
All right.
I
Stop.
said, you're allowed. He said, yeah. And you want to get him used to.
Can you
So
hear?
right now he's going to sit and stay.
Okay.
I was just filling him in on what we were talking about.
Okay. This is recording too, so you can watch what we missed.
Okay.
So,
All right.
this is a little unusual because Sable kind of knows stay, but
Okay.
what we're talking about. So, come here, Mom. Sit. Good. So I'm going to put her in a sit, right? She knows it, but I'm going to say stay. I'm literally just going to lean back like this. Good girl. And get the treat. So it's well, you can't really see my feet, but it's literally just a half a step I took like this, right?
Okay.
All right.
Stay. I take a half a step and now I'm leaning back a little further. Good girl. And if Max won't stay at 3 steps, that means that you got to go back to 2 steps away, right? It's literally step by step. It takes a lot to get him to stay, even with just a lean. But once you get 2, 3 steps away and he's got it down, now you can go 5, 6, 7, 10 steps away a lot easier. Does that
All
make
right.
sense? So,
Okay.
sit. So good girl. So I do that and I'll take stay. I take a step back, and the reason why we're leaning is to create some separation, but our hand is kind of a gesture to keep him where he's at. Good girl. And that was good. She jumped, right?
Right. She said you took too long.
Well, I ignored it because the last command I gave her was stay. She's being pushy. She's a pushy bitch. She wants her cookie. And to get him in motion, this is what I like to do a lot. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Oops. And I go back. Good girl. And then it's little baby step increments.
Okay.
Does that make
All right.
sense?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, hold on. I got to get Deuce. Sorry, buddy. Get off. Go lay down now. Go. Go. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's literally baby steps. And it starts with a subtle lean. And the way we capture behaviors, even with sit, a lot of times the dog just sits and people start catching the sit out of luck and praising it. And the dog learns, oh, ass hits the floor, good things happen, right? So it's the same thing with stay. He has no freaking idea what this or the word stay means.
Okay.
But keeping it short and sweet in close proximity to him, the repetition of that, he starts getting it. And remember, it takes a while to get 1 step away. And it takes a little longer to get 2 steps away. But once you solidify those first few steps, going to 10 or 15 steps away happens a lot faster.
Okay.
So, yeah. And does he down? Can you down on command too?
He can do, yes.
Okay.
He can.
Good. So, all right. So think about it. So you'll work on stay, but right now you have sit, you have come, you have sit, you have down, and then you have sit to sit from the down position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have 4 body positions you could put him in when you're out and about Home Depot and working him in these environments.
Okay.
Right. And if you're going to work him, like I said, 30 seconds in each aisle, right? Walk around, stop. I mean, how long can you really do, come, sit, down, sit? I mean, 30 seconds, we're all getting bored, right? So we keep, quick hits, go up and down a couple of aisles, and, just keep it simple. And you're working him and you're exposing him. That's what socialization is. When people hear socialization, they think it's, your dog just meeting other dogs and people. No, we need to socialize them environmentally too, in new environments, new situations, new places. And what's better than a pet store and Home Depot? Home Depot, there's all sorts of noise going on, right? Pet store, there's all sorts of smells and animals. Like, those are really good distracting environments to get him to work for you.
Okay.
Or hot dogs.
He does like hot dogs.
Yeah. So remember, the higher the more stimulation there is in an environment, in all likelihood, the higher value food source you'll need.
Okay.
So.
All right. He's gonna need steak too, Dom.
Steak. I don't even get steak. Wait a minute.
Karen said something about filet mignon. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
He says I spoil him as it is. But he was getting car sick, so I stopped putting him in the crate in the car.
Okay.
And the last time I put him, I hooked him to one of those harnesses in the car, and that seemed to be better. But that was only like a 10-minute ride.
What kind of crate was it? Was it a metal crate?
No, it was a plastic crate. It was a
Plastic fold-up crate.
like the airplane crate type. What he came in.
Okay, so I've noticed sometimes when it's not so much the crate, but if you don't have, those grippy carpets.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have one of those on the bottom of the crate that can grip and he can like hold his position. Sometimes they slide when you turn and it freaks them out. But
in the crate?
Yeah, the bottom of the crates, they slide. They have no traction.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times that causes anxiety, but you're past that. If you're seat belting him and he's fine, that's certainly a good solution.
Yeah, well, so far I haven't taken him on a longer road trip yet, but I crashed my car, so now I just got another car, so now I can put him in the car.
Oh my God, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. It was in North Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it was totaled, so we had to wait.
Oh, okay.
But now I have a car, so I should be able to start getting him in there and getting him
and
used to the car again.
Work him in the car. What kind of car?
A Sportage, Kia Sportage.
Perfect. So you put him in the back seat?
Yep.
Yeah, in the back seat, and then I got this harness that wraps around the headrest.
Yep.
And then you just hook their harness to it.
Perfect. So when you put him in there, do some training sessions in there before you even go for a ride.
Like what?
Put him in the back seat. Sit. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Real quick. 30 seconds. Take him out. Do that a few times before you even go for a ride. Now you're creating a positive association with the car before it even moves.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a new car, so even better. New environment.
Right. Yeah.
So.
The other problem we have with him is when we eat dinner. So you had said to feed him when we eat, and I was doing that and it works, but he won't leave my daughter alone. Like he keeps jumping up, and so I wasn't able to get him to do the stay. Like, how do you get them to like
crate
lay down? Huh?
Crate right now.
That's what we've been doing. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember too is, I mean, does he ever succeed at getting something at the table?
Not usually, no.
Okay, all right, good. Does anyone pay any attention to him when he's jumping? Good or bad?
Well, yes, both.
Well, we keep telling him no.
And
because he wants to jump up on our lap, so we push him back and say no.
All right. Any chance anyone is inadvertently rewarding his jumping?
No.
Maybe with a pet. That's a reward. I pet him.
But you're not supposed to, no?
Okay. So, do you ever hear of,
I know he is.
do you ever hear of a liquid substance called gasoline?
Yeah.
It's very flammable, right? You can't put a fire out with gasoline.
Okay.
You can't correct a behavior that you're currently rewarding.
Okay.
And everybody, you gotta remember, it's either acceptable or it isn't. So, Dom, does he jump on you as much as he jumps on Karen?
Not as much on me because he knows I won't pay attention to him.
But he jumps on
Should I bow? So, Karen, seriously, Karen, you are, even if you pet him 1 out of every 10 times, it's enough for him to understand that jumping gets his attention.
Okay.
So it's okay to put him in the crate right now while you eat. Right?
I thought maybe he was getting mixed signals because I had a dog we used to have him lay down when we ate dinner, but I can't remember what age he started really doing that.
Yeah, and you'll get there, but let me tell you, there's one thing that's consistent about puppies. They are inconsistent. Okay, it's not Max. He's learning, and keep this in mind, okay? And you know, you're looking at the next 16 to 20 years that you're going to have him, okay? You are literally shaping the rest of his life. So
Right.
every behavior that you're rewarding is going to perpetuate, and it's going to get better. He's going to get better at it. It doesn't matter what the behavior is.
Okay.
So we can either, I always say, ignore unwanted behaviors and reward desired behaviors. Same thing with dogs that are hyper. Ignore hyper, unwanted states of mind, reward calmer, happier states of mind.
Okay.
So,
okay, that makes sense.
For now, there's nothing wrong with putting him in the crate while you eat. But remember, if he's whining or fidgety, you can't even make eye contact with him. Because that alone could validate whining or him being a little, futzing around in the cage or something.
He's usually pretty good when we put him in there when we're eating.
Yeah.
He's pretty quiet.
He doesn't mind
content.
Perfect. And then, and you make it matter of fact. It's not a punishment. Come on, buddy. Toss a treat in there like we talked about with crate training. Toss a treat in. Good boy. Close it. And then when you go let him out, no sweet talk. Just let him out. He's calm. He's relaxed. His reward for that is coming out. And you're done. You're done eating. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And
what if he comes out of the crate like all hyper and just ignore it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But he's a puppy. He probably always comes out of the crate hyper.
He pretty much does. Yeah, he's always excited.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one that lets him out.
Right.
So he's usually.
Yeah. You don't tell him mommy's letting you out? You don't do anything like that, do you?
I don't think so.
No, I think I just say, come on, it's time to come out.
Okay. Don't say anything.
Don't say anything? Okay.
Matter of fact. Going in and out of the crate should be very matter of fact. It just is.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Does he need help getting stimulated?
No.
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 If he wakes up, he's stimulated.
Pretty much.
I mean, he's old. He's an older puppy now, so he'll start plateauing and leveling out. But they're excited to come out of the crate and be with their people. We don't need to add to it by sweet talking him before that event happens.
Okay.
So, crating, non-event. It just is. It's just part of his life. It's like it's the floor. The floor is just something he walks on. He doesn't pay any attention to it. It's not good or bad. It just is.
Okay.
Right? The crate just is. It's just part of his life. Going in should always be positive. Coming out, we don't need to make a commotion.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything
So
else?
when we walk him, he likes to try and herd the cars. So even though he's on a leash,
Oh yeah.
even though he's on a leash, he lunges out. So I started when I see a car coming, making the leash really short, so he's like right next to me.
Okay.
But he does still try to lunge at the cars. But he's on a shorter leash at that point. So I know because the cars are actually stopping short. It was so bad. So now I make sure that I'm trying to be mindful and keep him on that shorter leash, and so he won't get away.
Yeah. So
But
cars are tough when dogs are chasing cars or herding cars. The short leash it's a good handling for now. It's good handling for now from a management standpoint, just so he doesn't get to the edge of that leash. But do you work him on walks or you just walk him?
what do you mean? No, I don't really work him too much, but I probably should.
Every walk should be work.
Okay.
Stop periodically, do some sits and downs with him, carry on your walk. Because remember, he's not going to listen to you the first time you work him on a walk. But if you have to get to the point where he'll, again, going back to what we were talking about at Home Depot, we got to get him focusing on us in a certain environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
A walk is another environment. Cars is another distraction in that environment. If we can't get him focused on us when there aren't any cars, We can't get him to focus on us when the car is present and driving by. So you do have to make working walks part of every single walk.
Okay.
You never go
Okay.
on a walk without treats. And you
Okay.
got to make him work and do sits and downs and comes, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, and the short leash is good. It's a good management technique for handling. But at some point, when you see a car coming, you could even give him a whiff of that high value treat, get his attention on you, then see how he responds when the car passes by. Is he more interested in the car or the hot dog? Right. And we don't know. I don't know that answer. You'll have to tell me what that answer is.
All right.
Okay.
But working him without the car distraction comes before getting him to focus on us with the car distraction.
So when the car is approaching, am I supposed to be walking, just keep walking straight ahead with him? Or should I be trying to make him sit?
Well,
What
for
is the
now, we want to get him to sit and focus on us. So you know how I just did that little spin with Sable to get her spinning in motion?
Yeah.
That's part of your repertoire in the house. You can carry that on outside because you can give him a whiff of that hot dog, do a little spin away from the car so he's focused on you. That's a good boy. Keep his attention. Let him nibble on that treat as the car goes by.
Okay.
Right? That'll disconnect him and it'll get his focus on you. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen right away. Again, you're going to have to tell me, okay, Jeff, he didn't give a shit about the hot dog. He still wanted to chase the car, right? It's possible that might happen. Or it's possible, oh, whoa, what's this? Maybe this is better than not going anywhere because really you're on a short leash. He can bark and go nowhere, or he could look at you and sit and get a hot dog. And again, the repetition of that is going to change his mind of, oh, wait, the last time I felt this way, mom gave me that sit word and I looked at her and I got a hot dog. And then we start changing his thought process to defer to us when he's feeling those simulated states of mind come up.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
And again, there'll be peaks and valleys, so you can, always hit me up and let me know where you're at with that. But again, getting him out in new environments and working him in those environments, that's going to have positive residual results as far as his focus on you in a lot of different areas of his life, not just at Home Depot, not just at the pet store. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, because he's very embarrassing.
Oh. Puppies usually are.
Yeah. It happens,
Oh gosh.
Did you cover everything?
Let me see. Did I cover everything?
She's got quite the list here.
I got a list here. Let's went over that.
You got that. What's this? Yeah, you got that. Body slams gate.
Yeah, he keeps knocking my gate over. It's suction to the wall, like it's one of those. But he like runs his whole body into it, and eventually the bottom part like flips up, and then he's gone.
Okay, so that is a behavior much like jumping at the table. It's a behavior where there's a benefit on the other side of that behavior. Through no fault of yours, he has learned that behavior gets him freedom. So if you can't if the gate is not strong enough for him, you need a new gate. Because every time he's successful at busting through, he's getting better at busting through.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, usually I catch it before he gets out, but he's still like, I'll walk over, I'll be like, you knocked the gate down again.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like, one of those, what is it? Safety first. It's one of those that you walk through.
Yeah.
But it's metal and he chews it too. Tries to chew it.
So that's where, all right. So in that situation, when he's jumping on the gate, will he come to you if you call him?
I haven't tried it because usually it's I walk out of the room and then all of a sudden the gate is off. I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I didn't do nothing.
You want him to yell at you again?
I pet it, Max. Okay.
Is he jumping on you and you're petting him?
Yeah.
You're lucky I can't see it.
He's short.
So you're literally rewarding a behavior that you don't want your dog to do.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You're not my dog.
You know what? I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Are you serious?
I didn't even realize I was doing it.
I was
Yeah.
over here looking at you like, what are you doing?
Or maybe you farted or something.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Mr. Max is going to learn.
So Max also barks excessively. And my sister-in-law lent us one of these collars that
Vibrate.
vibrates when he barks. Is that a good tool for him? It like makes a noise when he does bark.
Does it work?
So far,
Yeah.
it's only been a day, but so far.
I actually just did a review on my YouTube channel for a vibrating bark collar.
Oh,
Wow,
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they don't cause any harm. Yeah, they just vibrate like a beep. Like remember beepers back in the day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, that's what it does. It beeps.
Yeah,
And then he stops and he's not barking excessively like he was.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
I just, I feel bad because dogs are supposed to bark,
You're not supposed to feel bad.
but I,
Yeah,
We've been through this with you.
Yeah, I mean, barking obviously is, there could be an underlying reason why he's barking. But, based on this Zoom alone, it's possible that barking was inadvertently rewarded at some point in his life. Like, what, Max? What do you want?
oh God, you guys are ganging up on me.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. It beeps, and I'm guessing that it at first it would beep and vibrate, and he would respond to the vibrate, and more he's responding to just the beep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the progression of those collars. So it's working, and again, it's benign. It's not like he's getting shocked. It just vibrates. So
how long do I have to keep this collar on him? Like, how long does it usually take for them to finally get that they're not supposed to be barking, and then you could take the collar off?
Well, you're already using it, so I just ignore barking, and eventually the barking stops.
Okay.
But if you accidentally or inadvertently rewarded barking at any point in his puppyhood, it'll be a little longer to modify that. But there's no time frame. So, and it's not big and bulky. It's a little thin piece of like a little thin receiver, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like, it looks like a box.
Yeah.
On the bottom. So is it supposed to be like on the box? It's supposed to be underneath him, or is it supposed to be in any?
Yeah, they give the position, but it always spins around. So
it does spin around. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing, because it doesn't have contacts on it like a shock collar. It's flat, so it does spin. But as long as it's snug enough on his neck, so there's some contact. It's the whole purpose of it is for him to bark and be like, whoa,
I mean, it has like 4 plastic little like pins, but it's not a shock collar.
No,
it just said what did it say? It was a no barking collar or something.
It's the beep and vibrates. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You can keep it on him.
Okay.
Obviously, you could take it off and see what happens. How long have you been using it?
Only 2 days.
Yeah, give it a week. See what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just he was barking so excessively, he was driving everybody crazy.
Yeah, and give it a week or so, take it off, and compare the difference. And if the behavior isn't minimized, then you just need to keep it on a little longer. So
maybe then he won't bark because he won't want the collar on.
What's the setting? How many barks does he get?
It beeps on the first bark.
Okay, you should have a setting so at least he could bark like 2 or 3 times.
Okay, we have to read the book.
Yeah.
They couldn't stand it anymore, so they just went and put the collar on him. So
okay. Yeah, just see if there's a setting where you could change, because sometimes you could change how many barks before it starts correcting.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because I mean, I want him to bark here and there. I don't want him to be quiet 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if it was me, I just let dogs bark it out, and when they're quiet, then I'll go acknowledge them. But if they're barking, even if it's just like pushy, I want to treat barking, I don't look at them, nothing. That's not a behavior I'm going to reward. It's a behavior I'm going to ignore.
Okay.
So
A lot of times the barking excessively is at the cats. So, and I think it's because he wants to play with them.
right. So now that's when he's behind the gate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's frustration involved. So, you know, I get it. You're trying to balance him being a dog with not driving yourselves nuts because he's barking and he wants the cats. You know, but you're also at a point where he's not at the age where he can roam the house and, you know, freely and unsupervised yet. So, you know,
Correct.
you're making decisions not just based on environment, but his age and and now what, your house is under construction too, right? So
yeah, well, my bathroom has been out of commission for about 6 to 8 weeks.
right, so you got stuff going on, so he's even more so he's got to be confined. So you know, just he's young. It's something like you're not going to impact your relationship in a negative way. It's just it's a management tool for his barking right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, is it like we plan on not letting him in the bedroom or the laundry room because of the litter box and the cat's food and all that? Is that's okay to only have him have access to half the house when he's older? Right?
Your house, your rules.
Okay.
Period.
All right. Because I mean, our last dog, he only had access really to the kitchen majority of his life till he got a little bit older.
Yeah, I mean, my dogs have free roam, but I can tell you, we have a little, she's like 16 or 17-year-old Shih Tzu. She's blind and deaf now. So she's kind of in our hallway in our guest bathroom. That's where she lives now, just because that's where she was most familiar with, and she feels most comfortable in there because she developed some anxiety as she lost her senses. So she's confined, not because she can't have free access, but because that's her stage of life and where she's most comfortable. So that's what she knows, right? And you know, and my wife's office is down the hallway, so it's a nice little, you know, little thing for her to kind of, she knows the carpet runner, you know what I mean? So Max doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Okay.
Right. Think about like people a lot of times, like in rescue, a rescue will take a dog from a shelter and put it in a boarding kennel. There's no difference as far as the dog is concerned.
Right.
It's the same place. One is a boarding kennel, one's an animal shelter, but there's still lots of dogs caged up and barking. Right? Dogs don't know it's a boarding facility. They just think it's another crazy, insane place. Right? So Max doesn't know that the laundry room is good, bad, or indifferent because it's not part of his life.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Was there anything else? You did that. We did that.
I'm not allowed to vacuum, broom, sweep, or use a paper towel.
You're not allowed? You want to run that? You want to explain that?
Max goes crazy. He steals the paper towels and rips it up like right out of your hands, or he bites the broom or the vacuum, or he just goes nuts.
When all right, if you put the broom on the floor, will he bite it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he grabs it, and then the broom is up in the air.
Okay. And how do you handle it?
I take it away, and then I go on the other side of the gate and I clean that room. And then he just barks like crazy because all you have to do is take it out and he starts barking.
Dom, does he respond the same way to you?
When I was vacuuming the one night, I kind of stuck the vacuum towards the gate, and he sort of stopped barking, but then he looked kind of like puzzled.
Okay. All right, this is going to sound weird. Okay. I need you to do a little experiment for me. You need to, first of all, put the vacuum near him and just like, you know, is it a stand-up vacuum where you kind of push it up and it locks in a standing position?
Yep.
Wheel it over. Matter of fact, don't look at him. Don't look at him. Don't present it to him. Don't be like, here, Max, the vacuum. No, just walk it over, stand it up and walk away and just kind of gauge what happens. Okay. That's step one. So if nothing happens, step two would be, and this is with the cord wrapped up. It's not plugged in. Okay,
Right.
the cord's
Okay.
wrapped up on the vacuum. The next step would be, unlock it and just roll it around without the motor on.
Okay.
See what happens. And then put the motor on and do it and see what happens. You should have 3 different reactions from him. So we need to know what those reactions are, because sometimes it's the motor, sometimes it's the wheels, sometimes it's the motion, sometimes it's just the object. So we
But
need to
he does it with the broom too.
and that's the motion of the broom, I'm guessing too. So that would just, that's where I would just correct him, and tell him to back up or something. The problem is if you can't manage that behavior and you need to sweep where he is, you may need to crate him for now.
Okay.
Until you get more reliability out of him and you become a little more assertive in your interactions with him.
Okay. Because I did leave the vacuum in the kitchen once. I walked out of the room for a moment and he chewed the cord.
Puppies chew shit.
Huh?
Puppies chew shit, and especially new stuff. They love chewing on new stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, like computer cables.
Computer cables, shoes. What else? What else has he gotten? Socks. Yep. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yep. That's why I'll never have a puppy again. I want no part of raising a puppy. Give me an old jacked up shelter dog. So.
Anything else on your list?
No, I think that was it.
That's it.
I think that was everything.
Okay. Well, keep me posted. I'll let this process and I'll send you a copy and
Okay.
do your homework, do your little experiments and keep me posted. Let me know what's going on with it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
He's been jumping on us and we're ignoring him.
Good.
Just for the record.
Yes. Both of us.
If he,
Trying to get our attention. Yeah.
listen, if he's willing to jump 40 times, you need to be willing to ignore him 41 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Period.
And eventually he'll just stop that because
If mom stops rewarding him.
okay.
Yeah. Just remember, you are shaping his behavior for the rest of his life, good and bad. Think of it this way. Any behavior, if he was 75 pounds, would his behavior be acceptable? That's what you have to ask yourself. And if the answer is no, then that behavior cannot be rewarded.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right.
We wouldn't have let Bailey do that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely not.
Right. So.
Okay.
All right.
All
Sound
right.
good?
Jeff,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. It was good seeing you guys again. Once
Yep.
this processes, I'll email it over to you.
All right. Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Night.